future where freedom is not just an ideal, but a reality. The right to protest in Europe is being increasingly threatened in some key ways, such as through restrictive laws, disproportionate police action, and the criminalization of peaceful demonstrations. It starts with sanctions against passive protest, which endanger fundamental freedoms. This is followed by the manipulation of information regarding human rights when governments abuse of police power through violence, fines and intimidation. These actions not only harm democracy, but also discourage civic engagement, as governments and media discredit activists by labeling them negatively. Furthermore,
we believe it is also important to ensure that independent legal aid is available to protesters who face unfair charges, protecting the right to protest without fear of legal consequences. Additionally, we strongly believe that public awareness campaigns should highlight the importance of protests in democratic societies and challenge the stigmatization of activists. Furthermore, we support holding member states accountable for violation of fundamental rights through infringement procedures. We support, but we think it must also.
On behalf of the LIBE Committee, we have a job on your clause number 1 that we think that raising awareness is a direct solution because education campaigns take years to show tangible effects while emissions from digitalization are increasing rapidly. And also studies show that awareness campaigns rarely lead to long-term behavioral changes without accompanying regulatory measures.
Thank you very much for the lovely question. And well, regarding to your 8th clause, how can you guarantee that calling upon local media to approach coverage of protests will be helpful to limit manipulated information when big companies are still more powerful? Thank you.
My boss came up to me and he said, Joe, I said, yo, are you busy? I said, no. So I pushed this button with my left hand. Hey, my name is Joe, and I work in a bottle factory. I have a wife and two kids. And one day, my boss came up to me and he said, Joe, I said, Joe, are you busy? I said, no. So I pushed this button with my right foot. Hey, my name is Joe, and I work in
a lot of mechanisms that have it. Also, the watermarks will be all over the AI-generated pictures, and it will be very easy to spot, so people know that it is false. Then, to what Itresu said about if we want to those problems to use AI, how are we going to prevent the bad use, and how we didn't mention the copyright. We didn't mention in the resolutions the fact that social media was going to use AI. To what Afka said, how we encourage the social media, we think why wouldn't it be beneficial? If it is for the greater good, everyone is affected by this information, so I think everyone will partake in it. Thank you.
Dear Mr. President, honorable members of the board, distinguished guests, and fellow delegates. My name is Erika Nitoy, and I'm speaking on behalf of the LIBE Committee. The Committee on International Trade, INTA, acknowledges the difficult situation the European Union faces when it comes to arms exports. The EU has consistently advocated for human rights and condemned violence. Yet, many member states continue to sell weapons to countries accused of war crimes, like Saudi Arabia and Yemen. This disconnect between policy and practice must be addressed. The EU faces a dilemma, balancing economic interests with ethical responsibilities. Arms export provides significant economic benefits